last year I took you on a tour through my room. Of course, I'm using that kind of lightly because when I say I took you on a room tour, I mainly just focus on this whole area that you're seeing right now. Because, you know, at that point my room was kind of a mess, and so I was kind of embarrassed. But today we're going to change that because right now I am outside my bedroom. So I'm going to give you a full room tour right now. Excuse the noise because there's cats kind of running about. There's one of them. That's the newest one. Her name's Aspen, by the way. Adorable. So there she goes. Here is the door itself, and here is a sign. I usually have this up when I record because, you know, I don't want people to interrupt me. So let's open up and see what's inside. And hopefully the cats don't run in because they usually do. So we open up. Just quickly close the door. Like I said before, I only showed this portion of the room only last year. But like I said, we're going to go through everything in this room. And hopefully this won't take us too long. So we're going to kind of go around here, so we'll save this area for last. But we have some coats here just in case it's cold. It's winter time in San Diego, but it doesn't really mean much because it's not that cold. But I'd still wear jackets every so often, pretty much 24/7. We have a bunch of these drawers. Usually these are junk drawers. This is where I put all kinds of miscellaneous stuff back here. Not much to say here. Let's keep moving, but I do want to talk about this area right here. Let me just quickly back up. This is supposed to be a closet. This closet door has seen better days because one thing I should mention is that really this whole room I basically inherited from my grandma. This used to be her bedroom, and when she passed away back in 2013, I basically started sleeping here because me and my brother used to share a room back in the day. But this is my room now, and there's some things that haven't changed since then, like, of course, like I said, this door, and you know, there's so many things around it. So you have these old, you can see these used to be pictures I drew, but I glued them there and they didn't come off very well. So these are like little scars, or, you know, memories of my youth, shall we say. And of course we have this mirror. Of course, forgive me, it's a little bit dark right now because the light's not that great. Well, I could turn the light, but it might not work out too well. So here is the mirror, of course, how I see myself. And right here is a picture of my old cat. Well, one of our cats that passed away. This one's named Sunshine. We keep her photo here. And she was a nice cat. Didn't live too long, unfortunately, but always have this as a little memento of her. But let me go ahead. Let me show you what's inside here, because this is kind of what inspired me to make this video. Is because in this closet there used to be a ton of stuff. So let me just open it right now, just carefully, as far as I can go. And this time I will turn this light over here so you can see this a little bit better. But here I've actually, well, with the help of my brother, of course, we pretty much cleared out this entire closet. You'll see lots of B-roll we got of us clearing it out. You might even see some of it before we cleared out. Just a huge mess of stuff back here. But now I've used this area as more CD storage. So that's great. We pretty much, of course, as you notice, these, if we take off this cardboard, these things have holes there. So of course the CDs wouldn't work. So we kind of cut, well, my brother did, he cut all these cardboard out to fit here. So these are kind of like the floor of the shelves, which they do work. They're fine. They'll do the job just fine. So yeah, so we have more things to put here. So we have a bunch of boxes with a lot of you know, old jewel cases. That stuff I didn't really need, but I use them for spare jewel cases if I need them, so on and so forth. So yeah, I mean, there's some other shelves, like if we go on the other side so you can get a better view. So over here, there's a couple shelves here that originally I wanted to use for vinyl records so I can store them back there, but unfortunately they don't fit because these things right here get in the way. So sadly I can't really use that for records, unfortunately, but you know, at least I can probably store more CDs there if I run out of room for these shelves. And by the way, this very top shelf is where I store a bunch of other stuff, you know, like props or other things. Like you can see the Santa hat back there. That's kind of where I put it nowadays. But yeah, that's kind of nice. I'm glad we took care of the closet situation. It was kind of a thing we've planned on doing for quite some time. And so yeah, I'm happy about that. So now let's move on to this area right here. So normally this is kind of where I would put a lot of my equipment here, like the tripod, the light there. They would usually be here, but for the sake of this tour, just had to move them so it'll be easier to move around. So you can see my backpack that I would use for school. I'm out of school right now, but you know, I don't go back till the end of the month, so I'm just going to utilize this time as much as I can. Here is where we put my record player. Obviously, I've done a video where I unboxed it and I put it here, and it's been here ever since and still plays really well. And the only thing that's different is that I did replace the mat that was here originally, because the old one was a felt one. It was kind of a cotton thing, and of course, as I've learned more and more, of course, cotton or felt mats, definitely not the best thing to use. So I changed it for this kind of cork or some kind of, it was cork and some other material, but yes, seems very nice. So there we go. So we have some of my cleaning stuff like the brush, this fluid I still have, and I even bought this other brush that I sometimes use, and of course I use this to clean this brush, and this is to clean the needle. And a bunch of other miscellaneous discs here, some old Thomas the Tank Engine games right here, some old burnt DVDs I made back in the day, more Thomas the Tank Engine. Yep, Thomas the Tank Engine will never leave me. But anyhow, now let's move over here. So we have my old beat up guitar. I've had this for a few years now. The string broke, and so I never got a chance to replace it, and so it's kind of been sitting here collecting dust, unfortunately. You know, maybe one day I'll fix it back up, but I'm working on bass at the moment, so again, we'll see what will happen. And of course, you can see my speakers here, and some of my gaming stuff like my Switch that I unboxed over a year now, and surprisingly, that video where I unboxed the Switch is currently my most viewed video. I mean, it's almost to 10,000 views, which is kind of crazy, but I'm kind of not shocked at the same time. But anyhow, so we have the GameCube, which I also unboxed, and some other things, and more Thomas stuff. Okay, moving on from that. Then, of course, we have this badass Legend of Zelda poster. You know, kind of spruce up the room a little bit, add some more color here. And then kind of the last thing to talk about on this section is, of course, my TV. Oh, look at that. Oh, look what just so happened to be there. While we're here, don't forget to, you know, subscribe if you haven't. But okay, moving on. So there's the TV. This is actually, I've had this TV not too long. I actually got it for my birthday because my old TV stopped working. And so my mom and my brother bought me that, so very happy, works great. It's a smart TV, so I don't have to plug in anything. It's already has like YouTube, Netflix, Disney Plus already installed into it, so pretty good. Doesn't have HBO Max, unfortunately, but oh well. Now we move on. Let's quickly talk about my bed. Not really there's not really a lot to say because, you know, I sleep in it, so yeah, I don't have much to say about it. There's a lot of my bedding. You can see that not a lot of it matches. I'm one of those people where if it's comfortable and it keeps me warm, then I'm happy about it. So there you go. But yeah, not a lot to say. But of course, this is where I put a lot of my equipment in when I record videos. So if the light goes on here, the tripod goes here, and any CDs I have, I just lay them all up on the edge here, and so I can quickly pull it up. So yeah, not really much to say, of course. Again, you sleep in it. That's all a bed's purpose is, and other things, but I'm not going to get into that. So now, let's go ahead and move on to the main section. This is where all the magic happens. This is where all the production goes into it. So of course we'll start up here. So you see this top shelf over here. Now you're probably noticing what the heck this is for. Well, last year I did a updated like CD collection series where I went through my entire collection, and part 1 took place up here, and there were a couple people who pointed out that the shelf here was sagging. Like it was, you can tell there was a lot of weight in the center and it was kind of being pulled down a bit. And of course I knew about it, and yep, so my mom actually came and suggested using this. I know it looks kind of tacky, it looks kind of, yeah, it's pretty tacky looking, but surprisingly it's doing not too bad. It's pretty sturdy, honestly. Like as long as you don't like really bang it, then it should stay off pretty well. And the good news is that the shelf doesn't really jiggle as much before, so you know, it's just here to give it a little bit more support. That's literally all it's here for. But luckily you won't see this in many videos, so just pretend this was I never mentioned this. Then we just come down to here. So of course you can see the lights, which is how I get the little purple pinkish light here. I've talked about before in my 200 subscriber special, so go check that out if you haven't already. And before I should really mention this whole section right here, just a bunch of books. This is where I store a bunch of books. Some of them are for filmmaking, some of them were music related. Here's this book that Mickey sent me there. It's kind of being used at the moment, but it's serving a purpose. It's doing something. So yeah, I still plan to read it at some point. But anyhow, there's some posters here. Some of them came from CDs that I've gotten in the past, like of course the UFO poster, and then there's the Steve Perry poster, which came with the CD when I bought it. And of course I've shown this ornament before, but this is the Guess Who. Oh, there we go. Oh, I guess the battery is not doing as well as it used to. It used to play a lot longer, but oh well. Didn't expect it to be that long. But anyhow, we move on. So of course here is where I store some of my records. I think I have currently about 41, I want to say, in terms of records. So pretty good collection we've gotten, especially because we're approaching over a year. Actually, it has been over a year since I started getting records. Of course, Scott sent me the first one with the Who's Next, and it kind of started from there. So yeah, you can see this is like the only big difference is that I did buy this thing, this little bin here. I'm already outgrowing it, so at some point I gotta find a different way to store them, but you know, this is good for a little bit longer, so might as well utilize it. Okay, and then we have of course my setup here with my 2 monitors, which you're very familiar with. I'm not going to go too in depth about these, but yep, very handy, really adding the visual appeal to videos. Then right here there's my box cutter and the clippers there for, you know. And then we have this GoPro. Now I've used this GoPro a few times in videos before, and it's kind of nice having a separate camera. It's not good enough to be the main camera. Like, I think my phone is still slightly better in terms of quality, but you know, it's kind of good to have it just to have on the side. Like when I did the unboxing of that Bing Crosby record that Scott sent me, then that was kind of nice to have it there. But yeah, it's very nice. I know my mom got this for me, so very happy to have it. And it did come with this case here, you know, this kind of thing to kind of put around it. Okay, and then of course there's my keyboard that lights up, very neat. Same with my mouse. And of course I have this other desk lamp I got not too long ago. It's kind of, I just use it as another light when I'm working at night or something like that. And of course we have this little, I never figure out what these are called, but a little promotional thing for a Dio tour. Of course, shout out to Paul Burrows who sent me this along with some CDs, which I've shown in viewer mail before. Yep, and then there's this whole section here, which again you see in videos. Then there's this little area where I put a lot of the slim packs in. Okay, and then we have my headphones. These are actually pretty good. These are Soundcore, and these are pretty good. They're a bit old, you can kind of see, but these are pretty good. These have a 60-hour charge, so one charge, these are good for a long time, way more than you think you need. So very good. I'm very glad I got those. And this whole area is right here is where I put any new CDs that I get. I just put them here, and then when I reorganize them, I just start from there. And I already have one so far, and we have, might as well show it now, but we have Maria Takeyoshi. Of course, I've talked about her many times. This is actually her latest album, which came out in 2014 is when it came out, called Trad. And I'm not going to say what my thoughts are right now, but there we go. So that's the first CD in the collection for January, so we'll see if more come in. Okay, moving on, we're almost done. Of course, we have this whole section with more CDs here. Of course, there's Thomas again and Squirtle. I have no idea why they're there. They just wound up there and I never bothered to move them. Anyhow, a deodorant brush, you know what they're used for. Okay, and then down here we have other miscellaneous things that you don't really see in videos. It's just meant to store other miscellaneous stuff. But again, you're not going to notice them in videos. Then there's here this other shelf with more CDs I have. I'm just utilizing as much space as I can. And down there's just a bunch of snacks that I eat on the side. Of course, you've seen the base. I've talked about this base before. It's a cheap base. It's from Donner. I know there's better bases out there, but it's a good starter base, I think. It's a P base, by the way. And of course, it's been serving me pretty well. And see if there's anything else I want to mention. I know I talked about this before, but there's one more thing I do want to bring up, and that are these things. Of course, there's my magazines that I've gotten over past year, but I do want to talk about these. Now, these are CityWorks journals. So these are actually came from my college, and my college has this thing where you can submit written work that you've written, and you can submit them, and they have a chance to be published. So I have a couple of them. Now, these two, I didn't really participate in these two. I just got these as gifts, I think. But there's this one, and I actually did submit something here, and it actually did get published. And pretty big honor, I must say, because of course, let me just flip to the page. Here we go. So not only did a poem I wrote get published, but it basically won best poem, basically. And yeah, so very surprising. I legit didn't think it would actually win best poem, but there you go, it won. There is a typo in there, by the way, but whatever. It still won, that's all that matters. But there you go. Let me just put these away. And I think I covered all of the main things, but yeah, that is my entire bedroom. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. It was really fun to kind of go through the room, kind of show what has changed since then. I do plan to add more things in the coming year, but we'll see what will happen. Regardless, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give this video a like, subscribe if you're new, and I hope you look forward to all the new videos to come out in 2024. Take care and goodbye for now.